Say your name out loud. Go on, actually do it. In the half second that took, your brain fired 100 tiny muscles. In your throat, your tongue, your lips, in exactly the right order, and turned a puff of air into meaning. You didn't think about it. You never do. And yet you just did something no other creature on Earth can do. Not the smartest dog, not the cleverest chimp, not the parrot that copies your voice without understanding a word of it. Just you. So why? Why, out of millions of species, are humans the only ones who can talk? The answer is genuinely strange. And it starts with a single broken letter hiding inside one family in London. For 3 generations, about half of this family, known as the KE family, couldn't speak properly. Not because they weren't smart. They understood language perfectly. They just couldn't make their mouths obey. They couldn't coordinate the precise movements that turn a thought into a spoken word. And it ran through the family tree like clockwork. Roughly half the children, every generation. So in the 1990s, scientists went hunting through their DNA. And in 2001, a team at Oxford found it. The whole disorder came down to one tiny spelling mistake, a single changed letter in one gene. They called the gene FOXP2. The newspapers immediately called it the language gene, which is wrong, by the way. FOXP2 doesn't contain grammar or vocabulary. Think of it more like a foreman. It helps wire up the brain circuits that give you fine, fast control over your mouth. Break the foreman, and the whole construction project goes wrong. And that's the first clue. Because it tells us speech isn't just floating in some smart part of the brain. It's specific, fragile, biological machinery. So, what makes our machine different? Here's where it gets interesting, because the obvious answer is wrong. The obvious answer is, we're just smarter. But intelligence isn't the missing piece. We have spent decades teaching apes language, and they are shockingly good at it. A chimp named Washoe learned around 350 hand signs. A gorilla named Coco reportedly knew over 1,000. A bonobo named Kanzi could understand something like 3,000 spoken English words. He'd listen to a sentence he'd never heard and go do what it asked. But here's the thing that should stop you. In all those years, with all those signs and symbols, not one of them ever spoke a single word out loud. They had things to say. They just had no way to say them. So if it's not intelligence, is it the mouth? Are animals just physically built wrong for speech? And this is the twist. In 2016, scientists did something nobody had properly done before. They took X-ray video of a living monkey's throat while it moved. For decades, people assumed a monkey simply couldn't shape the sounds. Turns out, it can. The study found a macaque's vocal tract could physically produce vowels and consonants, the building blocks of speech. In the researchers' words, the monkey has a speech-ready vocal tract. What it doesn't have is a speech-ready brain. Let that land. The hardware was never the problem. A monkey's mouth could, in theory, say words. Its brain just isn't wired to drive it. Speech, in other words, wasn't a new instrument. It was a software update. So what did we get in the update? 2 things. First, our voice box, the larynx, sits unusually low in the throat. That low position gives us a long, open space above it to sculpt air into clear, distinct vowels. Second, and this is the real magic, our brains have unusually direct wiring running straight from the thinking part of the brain down to the muscles of the voice. Voluntary split-second control most animals just don't have. But that low voice box, it comes with a price, a horrifying one. Because when you drop the larynx down to make room for speech, you create a problem. Now the path for your food and the path for your air cross at the same junction, right at the top of your windpipe. Every single time you eat, every bite passes directly over the hole you breathe through. Charles Darwin himself pointed at this. He called it the strange fact that everything we swallow has to pass over the opening of the windpipe. And the result is that we are the animal that chokes. Choking is one of the leading causes of accidental death. We are the only creature that can recite poetry, and the only one that can die at dinner mid-sentence on a piece of bread. That is the deal we made. Speech in exchange for a throat that can kill you. Now, were we ever really alone in this? Maybe not. In a cave in Israel called Kabara, archaeologists found the skeleton of a Neanderthal man, around 60,000 years old. And tucked in his throat was a tiny horseshoe-shaped bone called the hyoid, the bone that anchors your tongue and voice box. And it looks almost exactly like ours. It strongly hints that Neanderthals could speak too, which means we may not have been the only talkers on Earth, just the last ones left standing. And when did all of this begin? Honestly, we don't know. The estimates run anywhere from 50,000 to 300,000 years ago. It's one of the biggest unanswered questions about our own species. Somewhere in that vast stretch of time, a creature opened its mouth and, for the first time, a thought came out as sound. And another creature understood it. And nothing was ever the same. So here's the part worth sitting with. Talking doesn't prove we're smarter than everything else. The apes are smart. The monkey's mouth was ready. What we got was a lucky, reckless rewiring. A brain plugged straight into a low-slung voice box, and we accepted a brutal bargain to keep it. The same upgrade that lets you say, "I love you," or "look out," or your own name, is the one that risks your life every time you eat. So the next time you say something, anything at all, remember what it actually is. You're running a machine so strange that evolution had to gamble your life to build it. Every word you have ever spoken passed over a throat designed to choke you. And you said it anyway. That's the most human thing there is.